The idea that the Second Vatican Council got rid of Latin is one of those things that sounds true until you actually read the documents. You see, that's when it becomes a little bit awkward because the Council quite literally says the opposite. In Sacrosanctum Concilium, we are told that the use of Latin is to be preserved in the Latin rites. Preserved. Not phased out eventually, not slowly retired, but preserved. At the same time, the Council allows the vernacular. Yes, allows for pastoral reasons, especially where it helps people understand what's going on better. So the actual formula from Vatican II looks something like this. Latin remains the norm and the vernacular is permitted where it is helpful. Fast forward to today and somehow we've landed on, well, the vernacular is the norm and Latin, well, I guess it could make like a guest appearance like maybe twice a year. Now you don't need to be a theologian to notice the problem here. The same quiet reversal happens with music. The church didn't leave us guessing about what's the best kind of music to have during Mass. Documents like Musicam Sacram are pretty clear that Gregorian chant needs to be given pride or place. Not one nice option among many, and definitely not for those who just enjoy the vibe, but the gold standard of sacred music in the Roman liturgy. And yet today, Gregorian chant is often treated like that antique heirloom that nobody quite knows what to do with. So we bring it out occasionally, admire it briefly, and then we put it back on the shelf of history to be forgotten. Somewhere along the line, we took what the church said was permitted and treated it as preferred, and what the church said should be preserved, and we treated it as optional at best. Now, to be fair, the shift didn't happen out of nowhere. The vernacular made the liturgy more immediately accessible, and that's not a bad thing. People understood more, engaged more, and felt more included. Those are real goods. Those things are good, right? But somewhere in that process, we seem to have acted like accessibility and tradition were mutually exclusive. As if Latin and chant had to disappear for participation to increase. But that was never the Council's vision. Vatican II wasn't calling for a liturgical reset. It was calling for renewal rooted in continuity. The idea was not to replace, but to integrate, to keep what is essential while allowing room for what is pastorally helpful. And so the issue here isn't Latin versus vernacular, it's whether we've been faithful to the balance the church actually gave us. And right now, it's hard to argue that we have. Because when the thing that's supposed to be preserved becomes rare, and the thing that's merely permitted becomes dominant, something has clearly drifted. Not dramatically, not maliciously, just steadily, quietly drifting away. And so maybe the real question isn't why are people so attached to Latin, but rather, when did we decide we weren't?